Hi everyone, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, April 18, 2022. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's well. Let's have some chat today. If you have any questions you've got for me. Today I'd also like to talk about what's happening with me and my gear. And my thoughts on gear at the moment. Any questions? A piece of gear I've been testing out this week at some shows. And happy to talk about any topics you want to discuss as well. So do put them in the chat. That'd be great. So first of all, we have our first attendee today. It was David Belcher. Said, good afternoon, Aaron, and everyone in the chat. I hope your week is off to a good start. Yes, I had a very early morning today, David. Had to get the car serviced. So off to a good start in that respect. I feel like that's a good thing, right? Get myself motivated for the week ahead. Rosanna says, hi Aaron, everyone in the chat. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday to you, Rosanna. Good to see you. And Jim says, hi everyone. At the moment, the weather is fantastic here in Vermont. Hard to believe the weatherman that there will be 6 inches of snow tonight. Really? That's crazy. Yeah, the weather's been really good this week too. But I noticed it's still very dry, so it's kind of deceptive because you think, well, the weather's okay now, the guitars are fine, and then you realize it's still dry. You still got to keep your eye on the humidifiers. It's still very dry inside the apartment, even though the weather has definitely changed. And, well, of course, if you're running AC, that's going to dry the air out as well, so do bear that in mind. And Rosanna said, hi, Aaron, everyone in the chat. Happy Monday, everybody. And Jim said, I've gone back on myself. Pooh Ninja said, throw some preemptive thumbs up, folks. They're not preemptive anymore. Now they are actually emptive. They're not preemptive now. They're emptive, right? Patsy Smith, good evening, everyone. In the UK, I guess, right? Today I went to my, what's the time here? 4. Almost evening in New York. Today I went to my first gig in a pub for 2 years. The group were really good. Yes, I've seen the videos. I would show the videos, but we get a copyright claim. And this must feel weird, right, to go out to a gig after 2 years. I mean, I've been playing since the end of last year, so almost 6 months already. And I've seen John Mayer, as you know. I've been to see John Mayer. Went to the Summer NAMM. I've done quite a lot. And it's only until recently that I felt kind of normal, if that's the word. Like initially it was weird to go to a gig and almost kind of scary and very strange because I spent a lot of time, obviously in the lockdown, spent a lot of time at home, like everyone did, but especially at home. I didn't really go out at all. I just did the videos. I was going live every day, right? So yeah, it's a weird feeling, but I think it's really nice to be around people again. Well, it depends who the people are, of course. But yeah, it's a nice thing. Lee's here with his fish. Lee, can you change that picture to a guitar, please? It's not a fishing channel, okay? David says, sounds like a nice evening, Patsy. Yes, it does. Beer, food, and I bet they had fish and chips there. Fish and chips, beer, and live music. There's nothing better in this world than those 3 things. I mean, I'm not a big beer drinker, but you know what I'm saying. Drink, food, drink, and live music. Let me change it. Pooh Ninja says, still no precipitation on the moon, but the day-night changes in temperature are crazy. I've seen your videos, Pooh Ninja. You're not on the moon. I've seen the videos, all right? And hi Lee, Rosanna, Jim, Patsy, and Pooh Ninja. Gang's all here. Alan's here. How you doing, buddy? Good evening, all. Wishing the world peace and harmony. Yes. Yes, me too. Lee said, I've just spent the last 2 days rebuilding the diesel pump on my car. So are you good with your hands, Lee? Like, could you build a guitar? Do you do things like that as well? And David Belcher gave you those stuff. I think Pooh Ninja meant the thumbs up on the screen, David, on the button there. Let me roll the. Oh, I don't have it on here, but the thumbs up on the actual app here, right? This one. Not the one that says dislike, although that works too apparently, but the thumbs up there, that one there. Who Ninja says all green screen. Who are you, Rick Beardo? Just kidding. I know he doesn't use green screen. It's just like a running joke. Alan says fish and chips, live music, and beer are 4 things. Hang on. Fish, chips, live, music, beer. That's 5 things, Alan. What's wrong? That's 5 things. The gig started at 4 o'clock. Just had 3 hot cross buns. Oh, and beer and brandy. There we go. Cool. 3 hot cross buns, beer and brandy with live. That's more like 8 things now, Alan. It's 8 things. All right, let's get started. Any news this week? Not much that I can think about. But I've been testing a piece of gear this week, so I'll start with that. I'll take you over to... I put a link in the chat if you want to click on that. But I will take you over to the website, sweetwater.com. And we see if this is working. Yes, awesome. So I've been testing this. What's this, you say? Another wireless system? Yes, I'll make a video about this, but I want to just share my initial impressions in case you're interested. So the story goes, I like this kind of wireless system. Now, they're never as good as a cable, right? If you're playing live, if you're recording, always use a good quality cable. I love Mogami cables. Mogami cables are my favorite go-to cable. Yes, they're expensive, but if they break, they will replace them with a new one, which is great. And they don't break. They really don't break. They're really well made. They're great. Okay, you can argue that you can get them half the price and they're also great. Fine. Okay, I like Mogami cable. But sometimes it's nice to be wireless. I've made a few wireless videos on the channel, and some of those have been, well, there's been a million kind of videos where companies have sent me, or potential videos where companies have sent me these wireless systems like this that are very cheap. If you look on Amazon, there's a lot that are like $30, and they're all horrible. Often I won't even review them because it's not worth even making a video about. But I love the idea of this kind of system. And I have since I was like a teenager playing gigs. Because I remember there was one that came out and I just love the idea of it. But again, I don't think that one worked very well. I did make a video of one like this a few years ago that got loads of views because it was only, if I found a rebranded version on Amazon for only about $70 and everyone bought them. And that is a great wireless system. The video is still up if you want to look on the channel at it. But it wasn't that good sounding. It still had some noise, a bit of a loss of sound. If you listen really carefully, it wasn't perfect sound like a cable. Not that it will never be perfect sound like a cable, and there'll always be some latency, no matter how good the system, especially at these lower price points. But that one actually worked with active pickups and was amazing for the price. So loads of those were sold, I can tell you from my Amazon affiliate link thing. Loads of people bought those because everyone loves gear that's cheap and works, right? So a lot of my friends bought those too. So loads of people bought those wireless systems. Then Sennheiser released the XSW system, which is my gold standard. But it puts a lot of people off that it's over $300. But they also work with active electronics like you find in acoustic guitars, and they are very well made. They use USB-C. And those are the ones, along with their microphone version, that I've been using the last 12 months. Full disclosure, my first guitar one actually stopped charging, and or it made a weird noise or something. It stopped working correctly. Sennheiser replaced it with a new unit, so that was great. All gear goes wrong. To me, it's how does the company look after the customer, and they replaced the unit. I had to wait a little bit, but I got a new one. I've been using that ever since, and that works great. When I saw that this one has been announced, I immediately pre-ordered it. I don't know why I did that. Even my sales engineer at Sweetwater said, stick with the Sennheiser. I said, yeah, I know, but this is Ibanez, and it's more affordable. And I guess my first thought was I can review this, and I can also have it as a backup for myself. But when I looked at the pictures, I thought, it does look a little bit cheap. Is this a rebranded one? It doesn't look as high. Well, not cheap, but and don't get me wrong. These kind of systems want to be lightweight, which often goes hand in hand with being not cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like lightweight plastic doesn't look as expensive as thick molded plastic, right? But you want it to be lightweight. but it doesn't look as durable as the Sennheiser. Of course, I have no way of knowing this. I just assumed that. And I was wrong. I was wrong to assume that, because I was going to cancel the order, because lately I've been selling gear, not wanting to buy more gear. I forgot to cancel the order, and it showed up. And I thought, oh, that thing showed up. Well, I guess I may as well try it out. I want to know. I want to know if a company like Ibanez would release something almost $200 with tax that is actually working, because a lot of these systems don't work well, and it works really well. So this is great. So I'll probably make a video about this, and in that video I'll mention there's one on Amazon for $70, which is okay. There's this one for $179, which works great, and there's the Sennheiser, which apparently has a longer range, but is also $120 more, and USB-C, which you may prefer or may not. But this has worked really well. So I've used this at home. I've used it on an outside party the other day, and I've used it at an inside bar as well. And it's worked every time. I think I heard one little bit of interference, brief interference while I was at home. I think I might have heard that with the Sennheiser once over 3 years. I don't think this is as good as the Sennheiser. I think if you have $300 for a wireless system, you should get the Sennheiser. I really do. But if that's out of your budget and you want to spend this kind of money, or you for some reason want this micro USB, I've been really impressed with this. This is now my second favorite wireless system, and I'll definitely keep it here as a backup for the other one, or in case I need to have two wireless systems. So it's 2.4 gigahertz. It works really well. As you can see, it's out of stock already. I did do a pre-order a few months ago when I saw the announcement. But if you want a wireless system, I recommend get this one. Also, not all wireless systems will work with every single guitar out there. There's going to be some guitar that has some kind of problem. It's just the way it is. They can't possibly test everything. Everything I've tested has been fine. But Sweetwater are great, because if you do get it and it doesn't work for some reason, you could return it. But I don't think you'll need to, because it's so good. And I put a link to that in the chat if you want to check them out. Use my link, no cost to you. And it helps me out. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy that there's another option for wireless, which is $179.99 and seems to work really, really well. And by the way, the gigs I played were 4 hours, and the system did not die in those 4 hours. I think it was about to. I think 4 hours is the maximum for this and the Sennheiser. I wish they could make it 5 or 6. I wish a lot of things with gear, but really, 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 really good and nice to have. Also, even if you want to not use it on a gig, but want to use it for like sound check, you can walk out the front and you can listen to your sound out the front, walk around the room, things like that. So it's really worth everyone having a wireless system of some kind, just to walk around and check your sound and things like that. So yeah, so that's a piece of gear I did get this week. I wanted to mention. Let me go back to the chat and see what you're talking about. Okay, right. There's a new rule here. Stop talking about fish and chips and beer, because I'm getting hungry. All right. Rosanna says Lee is very good with his hands. He can fix almost anything and can make all sorts of things. What kind of things can you make, Lee? And can you come here and fix some? I've got some things to fix here. I'm not so good with my hands, believe it or not. Alan said, "Are we all crazy tonight? Must be the moon." Alan, we're always crazy here. Didn't you know that? You just realized that? What did I miss? Did I miss something here? Did I miss something? Or was it my counting? My counting to 5 that made you think I'm crazy? Lee said, "Is this photo better?" Well, it's still a fish. Hang on. Let me see if I can see it on my phone. Lee, 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 Lee. That's a song. Will I get a claim for that? No. Lee, I still see a fish. I don't think you changed it, unless you changed it back again really quickly. Rosanna wishes she'd gone to the pub for beer and music. Alan said, "We're all in the funny farm." And I think I missed something. Dave Belcher, everyone also forgot the mushy peas and tartar sauce. Tartar sauce. David said, wireless? I'm still using a 30-foot coil cable from the 80s. Do you like those coil cables? A lot of musicians say they hate the coil cables. They hate the look of them. And yet I see people use them. I think they're more practical, right? They don't get coiled up. But a lot of people don't like those things. Now wireless really took off the last kind of couple of years because suddenly you could buy these things on Amazon really cheap. Because there's a $70 system on Amazon, everyone bought one. Everyone used them. Everyone likes them. Like I said, I'm not really big into this whole digital latency thing, but I feel like maybe I can feel it a little bit. Is that just because I know that I'm using it? Probably is. But it's so cool to not have the cables wrapped around your pedal board when you're playing. And it's really cool to walk out and listen to your sound around the venue to see what the audience is actually hearing. It's also cool, maybe you're doing a party and they want you to walk over and play Happy Birthday. Or, I mean, before we had the pandemic, I'd walk around the restaurant. That was really fun. If the restaurant I play at wasn't too busy and it was like a Saturday and kind of casual and I could see people be okay with it, I would just do a lap around the restaurant and say hi to people. So it can be really great for performance. It's not a gimmick. It can be very practical, really great for performance. The downside is you have to charge it all the time. It's not here, but I have devised a charging solution that I've created myself from battery, like a battery pack and a case. I've made my own kind of charging case. And I'll make a video about that as well. I keep saying that. I do have more videos coming. I am ready to make some more videos. So I'd like to put that thing into a video. And what I do is I carry this pack around with the wireless device in it, or wireless system in it. And then when I finish the gig, I put it straight in there and it charges as I'm going home. And then when I get home, it's fully charged. Or on the way to another gig, it's fully charged. It takes that element out as well, which is quite nice. But yes, I'm the same. I'd much rather just use a high quality cable rather than the 1% risk of a problem like you might get from even these great devices. There's zero chance of a problem. The sound and latency is going to be less. It has to be because it's a cable. So I always say this: don't use wireless, please, if you don't need to. I know I sound like I'm preaching now, but my point is, I see some people using wireless, and I've done this as well, where I didn't need to because I didn't have any pedals. I wasn't moving around. I think it's better to always use a cable when you can. But having said that, there are those gigs where you need to be wireless. And you can also use this with other things, not just the guitar. So you could use this to have two speakers connected. Again, you're going to get a lot of latency. You might have some problems with that, but it's an option. So I really believe that every gigging musician, and that's what I talk about on the channel, actually doing gigs with the gear, I believe having something like this that's affordable and charged up in your gig bag is a really good idea. I really do. Alan says they also have 5 gigahertz now, which is supposed to be much better. Don't know how better. So I've tried the 5 gigahertz. What it is that the 5 gigahertz has less interference. It's like with your home Wi-Fi. In fact, it's exactly the same. There's less devices on the 5 gigahertz. I mean, that there are so far. Over time, there might be less on the 2 gigahertz, right? Once we all move over the 5. But the 5 is better and more reliable. It's also shorter, though. It doesn't travel as far. But the interesting thing is, Alan, that the devices I mentioned, the Sennheiser and this new one, are 2.4. But they work really well. The cheaper one that I mentioned, the $70, is 5 gigahertz. Therefore, it doesn't have that much range, but it works with active pickups. This is why I'm really into this stuff, because I found my active pickups in the acoustic guitars would have problems and buzzing from a lot of these systems. Also, a lot of the systems, some people online claim they're perfect, but they're not. A lot of the systems have noise if you listen carefully. A lot of the systems lose high end if you listen carefully. Things like that. And some systems just plain out do not work at all, especially in high traffic environments like New York City. Now, I always say this: if you live out in Pittsburgh or Ohio, you might be able to use any wireless system. You might be fine. But in a place like New York, where I'm sitting now, there's probably 30 devices that I own interfering, plus the other 300 or 3,000 from this street alone. So that's why I have such an interest in the wireless devices. Yes, people also like those videos and reviews because they want to know which one to buy, and they're looking for the deals. And this, especially this new one being $179, I think people want to check it out. But I got really frustrated trying a lot of these systems. They just plain didn't work for me. So I'm really happy that I've now found 3 that I can recommend at all different price points. Yeah, the price is great, isn't it? That really is good. It's basically what the Sennheiser is, but $120 or so cheaper, which is a really good move. Hey Francis, how you doing, buddy? So Francis has connected me with a pedal builder. So one of his viewers was on his channel last week, and I was watching, and she makes I shouldn't say that, but at the end of the day, this is the way it is. I've had one female guest, and it's not from lack of trying. I've had one female guest so far in the last 2 years. Or have I had more than one? No, I know I'm saying rude now. Of course, we had Daisy Tempest, right? Builds guitars in the UK. So, Valerie builds pedals. So, Lewis has connected us. Sorry, Lewis. Where's Lewis? Talking to Lewis. Francis has connected us, and she'll be on. I've asked her to come on soon on one of the gear chats, because I think it'd be cool if she could talk about. It's I'm just double checking. It's Valerie. So she could talk about her pedals, because I'm really interested in how does anyone get into building pedals? That really fascinates me. So how do you get into building pedals? But we can also just do a Q&A that week about pedals. We'll talk about guitar pedals that week. And then when she's here, we can ask her what do you think of this pedal, and what pedals do you make, and what problems do you face, and what are your plans for the future, and things like that. So I think she'll be a really cool guest. I hope she takes up my offer. I just emailed her before I went live, so that'll be cool. Metalhead Hippie's here. I was watching you last night, buddy. Good show as always. Oh, Lee said, I tried to go live last night. I had lots of whiskey. YouTube wouldn't let me for 24 hours. Why is that? It knew you were drunk? God, I tell you what, this technology is getting clever now, isn't it? It knows if you're drunk. Wow. And David says, I remember the old Nadi 101 VHF wireless systems in the 80s. It wasn't uncommon to pick up local radio traffic, usually the police. Yeah, technology is much better now. And remember, there are some bands you're not supposed to use by law. You have to check with your local authorities which bands you're supposed to use these days. And don't get me wrong, there's some other systems. I've got a video about this as well. I've tried the Shure system, which is like a pedal. That's also 2.4 gigahertz, and it's like a pedal. That thing is really good, really rock solid. And then I've got an analog system in my closet here that I've used for parties and events for a headset mic that will also work with the guitar. But it's a big big expensive rack system, and it's a hassle. These ones I've been showing you are much more convenient, especially for guitar players. And they make a microphone one as well over at Sennheiser. I use that all the time for weddings. The problem with the wedding is you put it on there on the microphone and you hand it to the guest who's making the speech. And what do? They put their hand right over the transmitter and it breaks up. And they look at you like you have the bad gear. This is your fault. And you're like, no, take your hand off you're blocking the transmitter because, human bodies block the radio waves, right? So when you put your hands around the transmitters on the base of the microphone and hold it like that, no one hears it starts to drop out. So I always have to now tell people, hey, here's the mic. By the way, hold it not over the mic capsule, not over the transmitter, right in the middle. I almost want to put a sticker on the handle of the mic saying hold here. It sounds ridiculous, but if you're doing your big wedding speech and it starts to break up, that can ruin the event, right? So anyway. Here we go. Have you talked with Valerie about checking out her hippie fuzz pedal yet and her other builds? Yes. Yeah. So I just emailed her. She'd emailed me a few days ago. I just replied and said, I saw you on the Metalhead Hippie show. If you haven't checked out Metalhead Hippie show, then do. He has a lot of musicians on there. It's a great show. And that's where I saw Valerie. And then Francis put us in touch. And I'm going to hopefully do one of these live streams with her where we can talk about her pedals. That'd be great. There we go. Thank you for that connection, Francis. Oh, Lee had to verify his phone number. Okay, so I look forward to that, Lee. I look forward to seeing you do your first live stream on Facebook. That will be cool. Pooh Ninja says they cup the mic almost always. Yeah, you know, a lot of singers do that, don't they? And a lot of people do that. They grab the mic around the capsule, and that's when you get the feedback. But with the wireless adapter that I put in the base of the microphone, the problem is if they hold it over that transmitter, over that piece of plastic, because that is what's sending out the signal. That happens a lot. Alan said, yeah, that's like when you tell someone not to blow into a mic. They say, yes, okay, and the first thing they do is tap, blow and tap, or tap on it, right? Have you ever done that at a wedding? Okay, where's the mic? I'm going to make my speech. Oh, here it is. And carefully hand it to them. All right. It's not on. Yeah, I know. I have to unmute it because I'm not going to unmute it while you're standing in front of the speaker. Once you move out into the front of the dance floor, I'll unmute you. And they just look at you like you don't know what you're doing. Or is it just me? They look at me like I don't know what I'm doing. All the stories of gigs and weddings, eh? The problem is, I guess you are effectively getting someone into the band using the equipment in the fact that they're using the microphone without all that kind of experience and training, right? Because to have mic technique takes a bit of knowledge. You have to know how to hold it. You have to know to speak right into it. You have to know not to put it in front of a speaker. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with a microphone. And that's another reason as well why I use a spare microphone. I never give my microphone out. I know after COVID that kind of makes sense. I gotta say, even before COVID, I didn't do it. I've always had not a real cheap mic, but a cheaper mic that still, I want it to still sound good and still work reliably, but I'm not going to give someone my $300 microphone that I sing into. I'm going to give them a microphone that's, I've got one that's like, it was a free, I got it free when I purchased the TC pedal, and they're like $70, and I keep that in a pencil case, and I give them that to use, and that way if they do break it or drop it or something like that, then I've only lost $70 and not the $300. Also, of course, it's better to let them use a different microphone with COVID and everything and wipe it down when they're done. And you still then have to tell people how to actually hold the mic and talk into the mic. How many people do you see do speeches at weddings where they're talking like this, a million miles from the mic, and they're starting to feed back because there's no gain to the mic, that they're so far from it. And then everyone starts shouting to me, the person running the sound, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. So I'm not complaining. Sounds like I'm complaining, right? My point is, if you are a musician doing those kind of gigs, you have to find a way to educate the people. And I'm talking to myself here as well. So last year, after that happened the first time with the wireless mic, I used to use a cable, so I started using the wireless mic. I just thought it would be better. So then I made a decision to try to tell them, like, so who's doing the speech? Okay, you're doing the speech? Okay, so one thing, this is the mic. Try to speak into it as close as you can and try not to cover the transmitter when you're talking. Okay, great. They still might do it, but it's stuff like that can really help with these things. You going live again tonight? Wow, you guys are like every night without fail. These guys are live, and it's good. Awesome. So so that's a good segue into me. I want to talk about what's been happening with me a little bit. I'll make sure I say the right thing here. I mean, basically, to cut a long story short, I've been selling. I've told you a few weeks running now. I've been selling some stuff. And why have I been doing that? Well, I bought a lot of stuff, and I bought a lot of stuff that I thought, I can justify this because I can use it in videos, and that's a really bad idea. Because what happens is I just accumulate a lot of stuff that I wasn't using, and I didn't get around to making the videos because I just felt like, well, I just didn't get around to it, and there's too many things to even think about where to begin. So I've been selling stuff off, and I'm trying to find a way to do this where well, first of all, I want to talk more about the stuff that I actually use, because I've said this a few times. Can you believe it? There's stuff that I've used at gigs for years that has served me incredibly well, and I never made a video about it. I've been too busy making videos about other stuff, and some of which I actually are not even using on gigs or using at all. So it doesn't seem to make any sense to me. So I don't want to keep something here to make a video for just to have a video. I want to make videos about stuff that actually relate to me directly. And I know I could buy a guitar and I could make a video about that guitar and sell it. I realize that, but I want to at least have some kind of reason for featuring. So yes, I've been thinning the herd quite a lot. And by the way, for full transparency, that's not to say I haven't bought anything, because I have. I'm just trying to be more sensible about it now, especially now that I'm gigging and things like that. So I want stuff I can actually use at my gigs and come on here and make a video and say, look, I used this, like the Sennheiser. I love that. They didn't give it to me. I bought the thing. I used it at real world gigs, and I can now say to you, well, I can't say to you 100% that it's going to be perfect for you and where you live, because it's technology and it's wireless, right? But I can tell you that if it works in New York City, it's more than likely going to work for you where you live. If it works well for a 4-hour gig, then I know it at least does a 4-hour gig. And if it worked so well that it wasn't bugging me at my show or caused me any grievances, then that's a good thing. So I can't wait to make that video, because I feel like it's very relatable. And then my thoughts going forward is to downsize the guitars and the gear to what I actually use. What do I actually play? And sell off guitars and pedals that I don't ever use. It just seems pointless having stuff around. So that's my plan for the future. So having said that, I do have a few really cool guitars that I haven't told you about. That's you. I haven't told you about this yet. I've got a few things that, again, I've just been too busy. I've been busy playing. I've been busy getting ready for the gigs. I've been busy listing stuff for sale and selling things and shipping things. But that's not to say I haven't bought anything, because I have, and I've got some really cool stuff. I don't really want to tell you today what I bought, because I want it to come out in the videos. But let's just say you can probably guess if you know me well. And also, if you look at what I've sold, you can probably guess what I've sold those things for. So I want that to be in videos. I'm not gonna tell you right now, but there's a couple of things. Also, a couple of guitars I have that I bought because they're more like limited edition, like the Noel Gallagher. I'm keeping those because guitars like that they keep their value, right? But any my standard Strats and things like that, and then no. So yeah, it's cool. Let me come back to the chat. So I wanted to say that just to give an update for the channel for those that are interested. And I imagine if you're watching the live stream, you are interested. So that's where I'm at. And just to let you know that there are videos coming soon, and videos that I'm really excited about because it's stuff that I really love. I also did another collaboration yesterday with AudioMo. That's Jim, AudioMo Music. We went live just privately and just chatted about YouTube. That'll be up tomorrow morning. So that's really cool. I like doing collabs with him. He's really cool. And I like his channel too. And might do some more of those with him. Of course, the Mondays are the live version of that, but a lot of people aren't available at this time. I can't believe I just had like four guests in a row. That was really awesome. There will be more guests, especially around summer when we get the NAMM show and all that kind of stuff. But I've got that pre-recorded podcast with him, and I might, depending how that is received tomorrow, I'd like to make that a monthly thing. Just pick a title, not do it live, pick a title for a show and just talk to him about it. So it's not just me talking to the camera, which I like doing this format too, and taking questions. Like if you ask me about a certain brand of guitar and I can just talk about it openly like this, is great. But it's also great to do those pre-recorded podcasts with him and just pick a topic and just talk about it very openly. I really enjoyed doing that one too. It's something a bit different as well. So let me go back to the chat, and you can be thinking like, what's Aaron got? What's he done? I don't want to give it away. Yeah, I promise there'll be at least one of those videos up this week, so you'll see one of them. Brad Miller, afternoon Aaron, afternoon Brad. I shall have a sip of my coffee. Cheers, buddy. Were you ever able to get over to Carmine Street Guitars? I have not been there yet, no. I haven't been to any stores yet. I see that Music Zoo, who I love, are still not open to the public. I haven't been down to Carmine. I haven't been down to Rudy's. And these are other things that are on my agenda for the future. Things like this to do that, especially over the summer. But no, I haven't been there yet. Rafi says, so Rafi just did he just did his first performance. I was following along that journey. Really cool stuff. And he made a video about it on his channel as well. So check that out. That was really cool. And I might steal that song you did as well. The Traveling Wilburys song. I might steal that one. Because I love the Wilburys and I forgot about that song. Hey Aaron, how do you bridge the 15-minute open mic gigs to the 4... What do you mean? How do you bridge the 15-minute open... Oh, okay. How do you go from... Right. How do you go from 15-minute open mics to the 4-hour paid gig? Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this. So, a bit of nostalgia. I started doing open mics. That was a long time ago, Rafi. I have to think about this. One. So, I don't think my first ever gig was open mic. I think it was like school concerts and band nights. But when I was a teenager, I used to drive every week to an open mic. It was a 30-minute drive every week. It was every Thursday, whenever it was. I can't remember the night now, but it was at a pub in the next town, or the big town. I guess you might call it a city here. I drove there. I didn't drink, of course, and then I just sat there and I just waited for my slot. I played 1 or 3 songs and left, and I loved it. And that's where I got the bug for playing live. And I think that open mic nights are so important. I'm really glad you got to go to one, and I hope that people keep doing those. Because like I said, that's where I got my kind of first experiences. And also, like when I came to America and when I used to travel to other countries in my 20s, I always looked for open mics. Always. And it was so cool to meet the local people. And actually talking about going to the gigs from that, when I moved to America, what's the first thing I did? Well, I looked for venues that had live music, but they wouldn't return my calls, my emails. I would write down a list of all the open mics and jam nights, and I went to every single one. And I was so fortunate because there was a couple of guys at some open mics in particular when I first moved here that got me gigs immediately. They got me gigs and I went and did them. So that's how I've used open mics to get gigs. But your question is, how do you go from playing your first 15 minutes open mic to playing a 4-hour show? And by the way, the 4-hour shows, that's definitely a New York thing. You don't get those everywhere. New York is often like 4 hours with 2 short breaks. I remember the UK, when I used to live in London, I would do 45 minutes, 30 minutes off, and then 45 minutes. It was so much easier. But even that, yeah, how do you go from open mic to that? Well, I would say you keep doing open mics, right? You keep going back to open mic. You keep trying new songs. You write down which songs worked and which ones didn't, and you improve them, and you just develop over time. And the biggest thing with that is you also gain the confidence, because you sort of learn, well, you get more confident because you're doing it, but you also get more confident in your abilities because you know what you can. I don't want to say what you can't do, but you know what you do well. Let's say that. So you learn about yourself, like, oh, people like it when I sing that Kink song. So, so I'll do that next time, right? Oh, people didn't really like Hallelujah there. It was a bit too slow, so I should keep that for more like cafes and things. So you learn like what songs work at which venues and which crowds, and you also learn what songs you perform well and what your kind of hits are, the ones that work for you. And that only comes with experience. There's no way to learn that without performing. And that's why I'd say you just keep doing those open mics. So then the 15-minute set that you had this week will become a 30-minute set, and a 45, and an hour. And then over time, you'll have that. 4 hours is a lot, right? That's a lot of songs. But I think you're in the UK, right? So the point is, after 6 months of open mics, you can easily go out and do a paid gig if you feel ready to do so. But there's other things at gigs as well. Gigs aren't just about the confidence, are they? Or the songs. Gigs are about the gear. Do you have a car? Do you have a PA system? Do you know how to use the PA system? I remember when I first got a PA system years ago in London, I didn't realize you had to set the gain. And I just freaked out that there was no level, there's no signal from the PA, and I called the shop and I was like, how dare you sell this? It was you, so how dare you sell this to me? It doesn't work. So did you gain stage the inputs? Oh, I didn't know about that. So there's all this. Of course, it's easy now with YouTube, right? Everyone's got lessons and videos about this stuff. But yeah, it's really about everything, isn't it? It's about learning about acoustics. It's about learning the gear, owning the gear, having the transport if needed, and then the actual performance of understanding what songs work in what venue with what people. So I find myself doing that now. Like if I start playing, I just scan the room, and for example, like if a mother walks in with her baby, I'll just play a bit of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or if a 5-year-old comes in with the family, I'll start playing Baby Shark, something like that, and then they look, and then you've like engaged with them and you've connected with them. I think the worst thing at a gig for me is when you don't connect. Some nights I feel lately that I don't connect with the audience. And I blame them. Oh, the audience they weren't into it tonight. How, why not? Like, we've just had all this time in lockdown. Why aren't they more into the music? And I think to myself, well, maybe it's me. So is it me? Or is it a combination of the two things? And is there a way that you can get over that? Or the other thing is, are there some venues that's not what they want? Some venues want you to be background music. Some venues want you to be interactive and getting the party going. And one venue I do now is kind of in the middle. They don't want you to be background music. They don't want you to be in your face. They want you to be in this thing. I never had this before. This kind of place where you are your background music, but you've also got to be entertaining at the same time, which is really interesting. Does that help? Give me some more questions about that, because I just gave it a general answer. There you go with Brian. How do you afford all these guitars and all that equipment? Well, I don't. You see, that's why I just sold loads of stuff, because I bought way too much. That's the truth. Before lockdown, I worked a lot. I was gigging for a while. I was gigging every night. So sometimes I was gigging two times a night. But is choosing to spend that money on gear the best thing? Probably not. I probably should have done more sensible things with it. Like I said, I'm not here to preach. But it's not just financial either, though. It's also space. We got offered a storage locker recently. I'm like, I don't want to take a storage locker just to put more stuff in there that I'm not going to use. Like, what do I actually use? What have I not touched in the last 12 months? Have I got like a pedal? I mean, I've got a pedal I can think of right now that's worth $400. I haven't touched it. That should probably be sold, right? And then things like that. And then like guitars, like what guitar am I going to commit to? Also with gear, what am I going to commit to and dial in? Because one problem with doing all these different pieces of gear for videos, which is all great and fun, but on reflection, I've spent many hours figuring things out and dialing things in, only to then get something else and have to start all over again. So, hey, who knows? Maybe that's just where my head's at the moment. I don't know. But yeah, the truth is, as well, Brian, I don't want to encourage. This is really bad as someone that wants to do YouTube, but I don't want to encourage people to buy loads of stuff either. So I don't want to tell you, hey, I mean, I know I showed you the wireless system, but that comes with the caveat of this is more affordable than the other one that I was recommending. And I recommend this if you need a wireless system. Like, I don't want to say, hey, you must buy this today. I don't want to be that on the channel. Lee said, are you selling the new Gibson? The new Gibson? You mean the Noel Gallagher? No, I'm not. Like I said, that's collectible. That will not go down in value. I regret selling the John Mayer original, because someone just put one of those on someone just put one of those John Mayer original guitars, one of the 400 or whatever, on Reverb. I think they were in Poland. They were asking $22,000 for it. So of course my first thought was, I shouldn't have sold mine. I could have got $22,000 for it. But on the other hand, I thought to myself, well, what would I do in that situation today? If I had that guitar in mint condition and I knew I could get 20 grand for it, what would I do? Because part of me would think, don't sell it yet. Keep it longer. It might go up more. And then with that, I might get more stressed about like it cracking or something. I don't know. That's a tough call. But yeah, I've got the Noel Gallagher, and I think over time, well, the thing about those guitars is they will not go down in value. That's a different thing. That's a collectible guitar. But a standard series Martin or a standard series Fender that you're not using, you know, I don't see. I mean, actually, even those will go up in value over time, right? In 10 years from now, if you buy a brand new D28 today, 10 years from now, that may go up $500 if you sell it on, but it may not as well. But these guitars, like the Noel Gallagher, where they made 200 of them, I imagine that's most likely to keep its value. And I also like the guitar. I wouldn't keep it if I didn't like it. I really like that guitar as well. So, if you would like to perform on Hippies Tuesday whale show, it would. Are you calling me a whale? Padded pillow room? I think you mean I think that's the show where you have musicians play their songs and talk about their life, right? Yeah, that'd be cool. Only thing is, Tuesdays I have a show every Tuesday, but definitely do it. What's on the grey car? See, I was wondering if anyone noticed this one. That's my Cole Clark card case. Open mics and jam sessions, says Alan, are the bread and butter of every musician. You can do it without them, but there's always something missing. That's the thing. Like now, a lot of these local pubs stop having music and shut down, and open mic nights go away. Where will the people learn? Where will the next generation of performers learn how to improve their craft? I guess you can do it on YouTube, but it's not the same when you can't see the audience in the room, right? So go for it. It's a fun song. Oh, that's the biggest tip, isn't it? And you know this already, but this is the biggest tip. Figure out the songs. Well, there's two parts to this. Figure out the songs that the people will like, because everyone wants to hear a song they like. Like you can play a song really, really, or play it really, really incredibly well. That's great. Musicians will appreciate that. Even non-musicians will appreciate that. But if you play someone's favorite song that has meaning to them or they love, then they will really, really love you. Like it's about the song. It's always about the song, isn't it? Always. And the emotional connection they have to that song. And especially if it's fun, like you said as well. Like last week I did The Wedding Singer. You know, da 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 da. So I just threw it in. I just threw it in the set randomly. Just played it. And someone walked over and took a quick video. Like, oh, I love that movie. So there's the connection. They love the movie. And I used to have that years ago. I did an acoustic version of Baby Got Back. I don't really do it anymore because I got a bit bored of it. And also some venues I think thought it wouldn't be appropriate for some venues. But that was the song where people, and that's not my version, by the way. It's not my version. It's all over YouTube. But I saw it on YouTube and I started doing it. And of course, most people hadn't seen the YouTube videos and they just went crazy because it's like, oh, he's playing some ballad. What's that song? What's he singing? Like, oh, he's singing Baby Got Back. And then that bring their house down. So stuff like that. That's the killer moment. Aside from that, you just want songs that people like, of course. And that takes a lot of research. You know, figuring out the songs people like, figure out even just songs. Some songs I've learned in the last few months, like I learned Upside Down by Jack Johnson. I didn't really, I guess I'd heard it, but I didn't really know it at all. And then on my live stream, someone said, can you learn that song? So I learned it and it's great. It goes down really well. And it's good. Songs also have their places as well. So that's a good song to open the set with, right? Take Me Home Country Roads. That's a good song to finish the set with. And there's some songs that always go down really well. Sweet Caroline always does well. Take Me Home Country Roads always does well. And that's why I tend to do them a lot. So lately I've been looking for other songs like that so I can give them a rest. Because I don't want the regular venues to get bored. Think, oh, he always finishes with Sweet Caroline. Yeah, only because I know that if no one's singing, that song will get someone singing at the last. Someone will sing to that song. That's why I put it there. 4 hours. Well, it is. I want to talk about that as well quickly. So I don't know why lately I've stopped taking breaks. I don't know why that is. When I've heard of other musicians doing this, I used to get quite angry actually. I'd be like, why are you doing that? Why? It's like going to play somewhere for free that should be paying, right? Why are you doing that? No, I can't charge there. Why are you not taking a break? No, I can't take a break. But for some reason lately, I've enjoyed not taking a break. But that's okay occasionally if you really are energized in the right frame of mind. And there can be reasons to do that, like if there's people that might tip you. So in America, you get tips. You might not get those in the UK and other places. But I've quite enjoyed that. Oh, actually, I know the reason. One of the venues is there's a lot to do when you take a break. You have to walk to the other room. You have to switch the background music on. You have to walk downstairs and switch that. There's a whole thing, right? That's a lot of it as well. But I mean, I think the breaks are really important because I noticed on Saturday I was outside. It was hot. I didn't take a break. I was on kind of uneven ground. I was by the end of that gig, I was exhausted. That was a 3-hour gig. I got exhausted from that. Probably dehydration and things too. So it's all that kind of stuff too, isn't it? Taking care of your health, drinking lots of water. I remember years ago I did open mic in London. I drank loads of water that day, and I couldn't believe that night how clear my voice was. So all these things are important too. It's the whole thing is important. Yeah, a lot of people just don't think about this stuff. You know, what goes into all this. Okay, he has a car and a rolling cube street. There you go. That's great. That's all you need to get started with. Yeah, I only say that because a lot of musicians don't have cars, right? You need to be able to travel to a gig, and then you don't want to take a gig that's 5 hours away. You may have to when you're starting out, though. When you're starting out and you want to start gigging, you might have to take a gig that's, say, a 3-hour drive just to get started. But ideally, you want to be doing gigs that are not. Obviously, you got to factor that in. If you're charging money and you're driving and you're using your car and your gas, especially now, the prices of everything and the travel, and factor in that time as well. You know, sometimes I'll have to travel to a gig. It'll take an hour and a half to get there, an hour and a half to get back. That's 3 hours right there, right? 3 hours of your time. Now, I guess when you're starting out, you probably have, I don't say you have more enthusiasm. I am very enthusiastic about what I do. I love it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on here right now. But, you know, it's tough because you want to, as someone new to the circuit, you want to get yourself out there and get known in order to get more gigs. But you also want to try not to like do stuff for free and undercut other musicians. And there's a whole thing. This is such a big topic. This is like a whole series here. Because the other thing with this is you can undercharge as well. You can say, so a client could message right now and say to me, and we'll use Rafi as an example, I want to hire you for my new bar, right? 3-hour gig. What do you charge? And I could say, I want $500, and Rafi could say, I want $50. Now, what if we're both at the same level, but Rafi's new and just pulls that price out of thin air? She might think, oh, what's wrong with him? Why is he only charging 50? Now, she also might think, why is Aaron Short charging 5? And by the way, I'm just making these figures up. She also might think, why is Aaron Short charging 500? He can get lost, right? So you've got to find that price, and that's really hard to do because there's no standard pricing. In the UK, they have this musicians union where they actually have standard pricing, but the prices when I lived there were so low that you wouldn't stick to those prices anyway. So it's an interesting topic that I haven't really spoke about before, the whole like working musician thing. And it's also very personal as well. You know, a lot of it is down to you and why are you doing it? What are you doing? What do you, all that stuff. It's for those reasons. It's a lot of it is down to the person. Greg, how you doing? Interesting hearing your perspective on the open mics. I could do a whole, you know, talking about like wanting to get away from gear a little bit. I could just talk about open mic nights for a year probably, because there's so much that goes into it. Right? How do you find? Or first, I take it right back. How do you practice your songs for open mic? Like practice techniques. How do you prepare for that? What do you take with you? Where do you find an open mic night? What do you do at the open mic night? any tips for like how you interact with the people and choose the songs? How do you promote yourself there? Like, do you especially now we all have YouTube channels, right? Do you promote yourself? I have cards now I have on stage or on by my tip jar with my social media on it, so people can take one. I see people now doing things like Venmo on their mic stand. So people on the white, because a lot of people don't carry cash anymore, so people will tip them via Venmo. I don't do that, but it's a great idea. There's so much that goes into that. It's not just like some people think, oh, grab that guitar, walk down the pub, play a few songs, and go home. It's not about that at all. As Raphael will tell you, it's about, okay, what songs am I going to do? Do I know them? Do I use the lyrics? Do I not use the lyrics? How do I memorize the lyrics and the chords if I don't use them? Things like that. I don't like seeing people use lyrics. I do use lyrics because I've got to do 4 hours and want to do new songs all the time. But I use my phone on the stand. I don't like having like things blocking the guitar so that people can't see it. There's so many things, But I think it's great because it's playing, it's performing, it's playing the music, right? Not just talking about the gear, which I don't want to sound completely down. I'm not down on gear at all, but I do think it's important, especially now I'm out myself playing gigs again. That's also a lot my priority now. So this Sunday I have to learn You've Got a Friend in Me. That's one of the requests. So I have to learn that song. So that's a bit like the same situation, isn't it? So I've got that request. I have to do that. That's even, Raphael, it's even more different in a way because you're saying like, what songs do I learn to take to open mic? When you're being paid to do a gig, they might request a song. And yeah, okay, you don't always have to do those requests. But if you don't, they may not have you back again. And so over here, they may not tip you. And I just feel like as being a part of being a professional musician is to do those requests. So there are the odd songs that I can't do justice to, and I basically would not do them unless they said that we really need that song. But I usually get a list of ideas from the client, and I'll go through the ones and pick the ones that I know I can do well. Hopefully I know them already. If not, hopefully I like the song and want to learn it anyway. And if not, I see like, what can I learn? And I do that song. And on occasion, I will do a song that I wouldn't normally do as well. Like I've done things like wedding proposals where they've said, you have to play that song. So I've just found a way to do it. And I've changed the key and I've I've changed like the arrangement for the acoustic guitar. So there's all that kind of stuff as well. So you might not go to those kind of extremes for open mic, or you might do, I don't know. But that's what you're going to face when you do the paid gigs, because there's more expectation. Now, open mic is also good because there's no pressure. Well, actually, there can be pressure open mic sometimes by the host. Come on, get on stage, get going, come on. So there can be pressure open mic, but when you're being paid to do a paid performance, I think that adds another. It can. I'm saying it will. It can add another layer of pressure, right? Because you're doing a job at that point. New acoustic. I do have a new acoustic, David. I do. Last week I sold the HD28, and I sold loads of pedals. Because that's the other thing. I had all these digital pedals that I don't really love anyway, and I just thought this is great because whenever they release this is how bad it gets. Whenever they release a new firmware update, I can make a new video. And I thought, yeah, but I can, and they will get views. But I don't want to keep all these things around. I don't want to have to update pedals and learn them again just to make a video to get views. I want to keep the pedal that I actually like. And when I make a video about it, I talk about it because I actually like that pedal. And okay, so I've got a pedal board now and my tube amp. I guess I can still make videos about that. But, I don't have to. I'd rather just not make a video about those things. So I sold a lot of the digital stuff off. I just never really bonded with that well. Alan organises open mics. Cool. Mainly in Portugal, but other places too. It brings musicians together. Many a good connection. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I got regular work in the city by going to open mics. And over the years, I've gone. This happens a lot. You'll go to an open mic night at a bar. And if you're really prepared and really entertaining and really your act is there, at that point the bar may ask you to do a gig. They might offer you a paid gig. And that's the other thing. You get seen by people and you connect with other musicians. I'm playing Friday covering for someone because it's a friend of a friend. So that's the same thing. Through meeting these other musicians and networking. Networking is huge, right? So you network at open mic, and then one of them might take your number and call you. Hey, I can't do the open mic this week. Can you host it? I'll give you money. Or, hey, I play another place on Sundays. I can't do it. Can you cover for me? So it's really cool. He says, I'm the opposite. I'm from Portugal, starting out in Blackpool. Blackpool. Have I been to Blackpool? I have. I think I almost played a gig there once. On the piano, actually. Is that Blackpool? No, that was Great Yarmouth. Blackpool. I've only been there on vacation. Yep. That's the other thing. Yeah. You've always got to be learning new songs. Because I realized that recently. I've been playing out for 30 years. And I thought, well, I've got enough songs. And then one of my gigs said, oh, can you learn some more songs? Because I've been working here for 4 years. You've been playing here. And I kind of know your songs now. And I was like, well, I know you know my songs. You're always here. Of course you know my songs. I thought, that's a good point, though. I'm going to learn more songs. And I've been, like, if you notice on the Sunday shows lately, I've been learning loads of songs. You know, and I've given the rest to a lot of the ones that I was doing all the time. And that's really good, too. That's really good for you. I like this conversation, by the way. This is not so much about the gear and more about the actual performance of music. And I mean, performance of music is what I studied at uni. And that's what I've done my whole life. Someone said, how do I afford the stuff? Well, I afford it because I've been playing gigs. That's a loud plane. I've been playing gigs semi-professionally since I was 16. And I've been playing gigs professionally since I was 26. And I'm going to be 46 in 4 years. So that's a long time, right? Like I said, doesn't mean just because you can afford a guitar doesn't mean you should buy it, right? The other part about being a musician is having savings as well. But yes, I have done gigs as my only thing for many years, and I still feel some nights like I'm starting out. It's amazing. Some nights I think, wow, you know, like I don't get nervous like that, but I sometimes think to myself, like I pick up the guitar, like sometimes it feels almost like the first time I've done it, or like not the first time, but like I've been doing it only for a few months or something, and yet I've been doing it all those years. But that's why I love it. It doesn't get boring, and adding the new songs, and maybe to some people it does get boring, but if you add new songs, you add some new gear, like once you add a looper, things like that, then it's not boring anymore because it opens up this whole new world. So this week I started using that new kick drum pedal that I showed you last week. And this has added another layer to the sound. So there's a piece of gear I want to talk about. A piece of gear that's elevated the performance. Really cool. Doesn't have to be that particular pedal either. Just the drum stomp adds that new layer to the performance. And that's really cool. All right. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good chat. I like that. So what do I think about the new M1 Mac Studio? Worth it or wait for the M2 Mac Mini? No, you should wait for the M5 Mac Mini. I'm just being facetious. I love my M1 MacBook Pro Max. It does everything I throw at it perfectly well. I'm more than happy with it. The Mac Studio is better because, well, it's better because the laptop has the screen built in, which takes more power. And having said that, I have a laptop here and my big screen here, and I love having the two screens. I've just started doing this recently. I didn't do this to start with, but my laptop now has the mixer on it and can also have something else on it. So that's always open, always there. And then the main screen has my software on it. And I'm not saying you should get the MacBook Pro. Obviously, some people should, some people shouldn't. But the point is the chip in there, which I've got let me see which one I have. I've got the M1 Max, 32 gig of memory. And that's just, you know, I can do 4K video, I can stream, it's perfectly fine. You don't need the M1 Studio Ultra. That's way overkill for most people. The M1 Max Studio might be overkill for you. And who knows, right? The problem with Apple is next year there will be a new M2. I'm trying to get off that train as well. The whole Apple train. It's like, every year, you need to buy this one, you need to buy this one, you need to buy this one. No. You know, I don't plan on upgrading this set. I had my iMac for 5 years. I want to keep this new setup for at least 5 years, if not longer. If not longer. But I think you should look at that, Francis, because you stream all the time, you do music. I think you could get the max version of the studio. I think that would be really good for you, if you own a screen already. Oh, there we go. Whale is for We Are Live Entertainment. Oh, dear. So yes, I do. These new M1 Macs have changed everything. I mean, I'm gonna do a test right now. So my laptop is getting warm, but the fan is not on. I have the screen, the 14-inch screen there. So remember, that's also running a screen as well, and it's running my 32-inch monitor, and it's perfect. It's so snappy, and it's so much better than the old iMac that he replaced. That was a good purchasing decision. So yeah, and if I was buying today, I might get the studio with the monitor, but I don't regret the laptop because, like I said, I have my phone over here with YouTube on it. I have my laptop over here, 14 inches with the audio on it, and I have the main screen in front of me. I love it. That's one of the best things I bought. And talking about gear again, I'd rather have something like this, which I use every day, than 5 guitars in the corner I never pick up. So I'm really happy with that. At least that's how I justified it anyway. All right, Michael said, what is the ultimate acoustic guitar for finer style playing? Oh, you mean finger style? Oh, I thought you were going to say to plug in, but you're not saying to plug in, right? Okay, ultimate guitar for finger style playing. In my opinion, it would be this. I think this, OM28. I've tried the mahogany guitars. They're okay. Some people love them. This is all personal. That's the funny thing with all this stuff, right? It's all about what you like. But if you want to ask me what I like, I would go for this. I don't actually own one of these. I don't own this exact model. I have done it in the past. But the thing about this is, yeah, they're great. They just sound great. And for fingerstyle, they sound great. And they're also great for strumming too. If it was me, I would get one of these. But it's really tough because there's so many. By the way, it's the OM28. There's so many brands and guitars now. But I can only really advise you on what I've played, right? Lately, I'm looking more at stage guitars, like the guitar I can plug in. And I don't fingerpick that much. I do a lot of strumming as well, so I'm usually into the bigger guitars. But if I was shopping right now for a fingerstyle guitar, and you're not worried about a pickup, I'd probably get this. There's also the 42, which is the same guitar with more ornamentation, but twice the price. Really nice guitar, but depends on your budget. The 42 is $6,200. I'm not going to say it's not worth it, but the best bang for your buck is the OM28 right now. For a name brand acoustic, because there's a lot of options that are much cheaper as well. Okay, but if you want to stick with the big brands, then I would go for that. And again, I haven't played everything. That's just first thing that comes to my mind today. You don't play the same way at home recording and live, and singing is way different live. Yeah. Yeah, because have you noticed, like, you might speed up, you get the adrenaline, you might speed up. I once practiced the whole song sitting down, and I stood up to play it, and I couldn't play it. So you really want to practice for open mic like you're actually doing the open mic as much as you can. So stand up at a mic stand, get used to that feeling. And then, of course, there's nothing like having the audience there, which is why you have open mic, to play to the audience. So yeah, exactly. You can only learn from how to do those things by doing them. That's the problem I have a lot with gear as well. I'm just waiting for the plane to go. The problem with the gear is that I test a lot of gear out in the apartment, but I'm not testing it at volume, and it's only the gigs. That's why I like using gear and stuff like PA systems at gigs, because I can tell you that a PA system sounds great in the apartment, but how did it sound in use? And that's why, like with the JBL system I spoke about last year, I'm still waiting for those updates for the software. But I did take the actual unit to outside gigs, and I tested it at gigs, and that's why I was happy to recommend that. And then this week I took my older PA system to a gig, and I was getting a lot of feedback. And I thought, well, I'd like to try one there to see if I don't get the feedback. So that would never be a problem in the apartment, because you wouldn't turn it up loud enough to get the feedback. And same with other things too. Same with tone. Sometimes like an amp will sound different at louder volumes, of course, things like that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Whenever you buy a piece of gear, you've got to use it for the intention that you buy it for. So whether that means playing it quietly at home or playing it on a stage, you need to test it in those environments. And that's why open mic is good, because you can also take stuff to open mic and test it out there as well, as long as you don't upset the sound engineer. Good man, I like music. Sometimes I listen to, and I have played instrument like flute and harmonica and tambourine and guitar. And some people getting arts. Yes, art is important. Like, yeah, so there's a good example. So BMO said, "Can I learn Dance Monkey for a live stream?" And I did, and I do play that now at gigs. I don't think it goes down that well. But what does go down well? It's like if I had $1 million, I thought it would go down really well, but I don't think a lot of people remember it. And then there's some newer songs that I've learned that do go down really well. Like Blank Space goes down really well. Ed Sheeran goes down really well. So, hi Chaz, I saw your video yesterday. Congratulations on another video. So Widdy's here. Widdy's the one I was wrong yesterday. Widdy's the one that's been asking me about pickups the last few days. Believe by Cher and I Want to Dance Somebody, Whitney Houston. They both own a treat. Don't expect the guy. Yes, I do that too. I do Whitney Houston. I do Britney Spears. I've had some people say to me that sounds a bit like it sounds weird. Like, why are you doing that? But some people also love it and will dance. So some of those kind of songs can be kind of controversial as well, right? Controversial with the audience. If you do Believe, it's really cool if you use the TC effects pedals and do the warbly voice as well. If you believe, so we'll have that. There's a setting on the TC Helicon, so it will actually do that auto tune. That takes practice too to get that sounding just like the original. But I had a friend that did that years ago. He was in New York and he did some shows and he did that with the voice thing, and it was just awesome. Talking about songs that stand out, you're right. That really stood out. He did that. I didn't see the question about Megami cables. Let me see if I can find it. That's what I was ranting. Oh no! Yeah, T asked the question. Sorry, T. Here it is. Which Megami cable would you recommend? The 2524 or the 3368? Would you even hear a difference? Yeah, I don't think you do hear a difference. When I was at one of the NAMM shows, the owner of the company gave me a short version of their really high quality cable, and I compared them and I couldn't hear a difference, so I didn't make that video. But I'll show you what I use. That'll be the easiest thing. So I use these gold, Megami gold. I use the microphone ones and I use the straight ones. Now, like I said, this is an investment. Okay, these are not cheap cables, but I do believe even the ones that are the most affordable are very good. So I use this one. Be careful with cables, because sometimes you get the 3-foot thinking that's long enough, and it's not. And there's nothing worse than a cable that is not long enough. So 6-foot is pretty good for like guitar a lot of the time. Of course, if you want to move around, it's good to go up to 10 feet. And if you're unsure, go to 25. I mean, you do start to lose quality with any long cable, but I think you're okay up to about 25 foot. But I think 25 foot is quite long unless you need to walk out of the stage, a big stage. So I would go for, I think my current cable that I use at my gigs is 6 feet. And then my electric guitar ones are 10 feet. So yeah, if you're kitting out a whole PA system with these cables, it gets very expensive. If you buy their XLR and the jack cables, it can get very expensive. If you only play acoustic guitar and you want 1 or 2 cables, I would recommend getting these. I know, hey, this is all my opinion and my experience. There may be other cables and companies that are just as good, but this is just what I use. But I've used them for so many years and not had a problem, knock on wood. And the one time there was a slight problem, it was replaced at Guitar Center on the spot, which I just really appreciated. It was really cool. And then they also have other versions, by the way. So they also have like right angle ones as well. And they do have other series, you're right. They have like Studio and Silver, and they have their most expensive one, which is crazy money. I'm not going to say it's not worth it. I'm sure it's worth it to some people and some instruments as well. Whatever instrument you use makes a difference. But I didn't see enough difference for me to actually want to go out and replace the ones I had. Let's just say that. So look, this is really good for certain acoustic guitars. You can get the right angle cable so it's not sticking out, or your pedal board. If I use a pedal board, I use right angle on the end, so there's less chance of someone standing on the cable and breaking it off. So they do all different configurations. They do right angle on both sides, right angle on one side. Yeah, good stuff. It's good stuff. So I have a lot of those. I've invested in those cables now, so hopefully I haven't got to buy a cable ever again, because I've already done my investing in those cables, right? Okay. Hang on. Where's that gone? Here we go. That's really challenging. Do you do the hard version or a simplified one on requests? It depends. The honest answer is if I'm requested a song and it's not like a first dance at a wedding, I will probably try to simplify it. Depends on the song, right? If it's a really hard song, I'll try to simplify it because it takes a lot of time, right? It could take a whole week just to learn it. You might not even have enough time. If it's a song that I've been meaning to learn, I've been meaning to learn You've Got a Friend in Me anyway. So I'm going to sit and learn it like the record tomorrow, and I'm going to start doing it at my gigs. I want to do that at all my shows. So I don't mind investing the time into that. And it also depends on you. How long does it take you to learn a song? Because some people might take a long time to learn a song, and therefore can you invest, or have you got that time to learn those songs? So you've got to think about how long have I got, what are they, how hard are they, what ones will I reuse at other stuff? And then if you want to simplify it, I think that's fine. You can simplify stuff for a one-off request because people aren't going to know. But obviously the more faithful you can do it, the better you can do it, the better as well. And that comes back, like I said earlier, about doing a good job and getting asked back for more gigs. The more effort you put in, the more chance there is you'll get more work from it, I believe. So yeah. And also don't forget this. The more you learn songs, the easier that gets. So even the hardest song, if you have the lyrics on your phone and you learn that riff, you can, over time, the whole process gets easier as well. So you might find that there is no such thing as a song that's really hard to do because you can read it off the phone at the gig and you can learn the whole thing in a week. So there's a lot of factors, a lot of factors to all this stuff, right? But I personally figure out the key for me, because if I have to do a song, say you tell me you've got to do this song next week, it may be that I have to change the key and the arrangement for the guitar. It may be like impossible for me to do, like maybe I can't do Michael Jackson in the original key. First thing I'll do is figure out what key is best for me. So I'll do that. Then I'll figure out how can I play the original if it's a guitar thing like Blackbird, but how can I play it if it's like a band arrangement? How can I rearrange it for guitar? Because that might be a whole mission right there. You might have to simplify it for the fact you're playing it on a guitar by yourself and there's no band with you. So there's a few things to consider there. Spanish, it's funny you say that. I get asked for Spanish music quite a lot. Some of the venues I play in New York, and I don't speak Spanish, and that would take me a long time. I really want to learn Despacito. That might sound funny to some people watching, but I want to do Despacito. I don't need to learn Spanish to do it, but I need to get good enough at singing I need to get good enough at singing the Spanish words that it sounds authentic, right? So that would take me more time for that, because that's not me sitting down and figuring out the guitar part. It's actually singing in a way that I'm not used to doing. So, can you learn and play Paisley by Ministry? I probably can. I just don't know it. But I got these last Tuesday. These are requests. Oh, I just showed you where I was, but I got these last Tuesday. Some of these songs I'd never heard of. It Don't Come Easy, Ringo Starr. Never heard of it. Strawberry Fields Forever. Of course, I know it, but I don't know how to play it. All You Need Is Love. So I knew that one, so I played that one. Revolution. I know it, but I've never played it, so I didn't do it. Penny Lane. I've done it years ago, but I don't really know it well enough to do it on the fly. Well, at least I didn't need to anyway. They gave me so many songs, I didn't need to do it. I probably could have done. Ticket to Ride. Actually, I could have done that one. I don't think I saw this napkin. My Maria, don't know it. Never heard of it. But again, the more gigs you do, the more you would know these songs, the more there is chance of doing them. Fly Me to the Moon, yeah, I did that. I know that one. And then Ian Matthews, These Days, I don't know that one either. So the good thing is, well, the bad thing is I got a load of songs that I didn't know. And the good thing is that I now have new songs to learn for my set. So. You sold the HD28. I thought it was your number one guitar. No, it never was my number one guitar, to be honest with you. It was a good example of an HD28. And the HD28 standard series is what I recommend to most people. The way I just recommended the OM28, I'll recommend the HD28 to most people. I found a guitar that I like a lot more than the HD28. And you'll see that soon. You can hear the planes, right? It's funny, the planes are fine, but when there's I know it's loud. When there's fog or when it's a cloudy day, they do a different flight path and then they fly constantly. And trying to record guitar videos is a real pain in the butt. An acoustic guitar with a mic, oh, it's impossible. You have to keep stopping and starting all the time. Otherwise, it's fine, you know. When I first heard that there were planes over this place, I was freaking out, like, oh no, it's gonna be horrible. You really do get used to it. What's the loudest guitar you've ever played? Acoustically? Yeah, you'll see it soon. You'll see it on the channel this week. Hi Charlie, how you doing, buddy? Raphael has the MacBook Air M1, boosted my ability to record video and music, just the basic software from PC. Yeah, and you know the M1 Air is the one that's the least recommended for live streaming. Because when you live stream like I am today, although the Air is great, it has no fan at all, right? That's a really good thing. But all the other MacBooks and Macs have a fan. And the cool, pardon the pun, thing is you don't hear it like you did on the old computers. Like the iMac I had, that fan would be like an airplane. Right? You don't hear it on the new ones. But the only thing is with the Air, if you're live streaming, like I'm live streaming now for an hour and 20 minutes, right? 23 minutes. So the computer is warming up. And it does need the fan to keep it under control, even though you can't hear it. So that's why if you're live streaming, I think you can, yeah, I know people do live stream with the Air M1, but the company that makes this software I'm using today, Ecamm Live, say to get one with the fan for that reason, just in case someone's looking to buy today. 0021, that can't be the loudest guitar you've played, is it? I would say a Dreadnought has to be the loudest guitar someone's played. Old Metal Dude, good to see you again. Hello, Aaron. Thanks for the Monday Live. I always get to catch it before I go to work. I haven't seen much Morian for a while. Are you going to have him back soon? Or Spoon? Oh, yeah, okay. So Spoon, I think... So Spoon works now during the week. I think he might be coming on next month, but I haven't confirmed that yet. Hi, Alan. How you doing? Do I know Guitar or Bull? No, I don't. I tell you who I was watching the other day is Reggie. Guitaro 5000. He's getting millions of views now. Right, all right, so talking about open mics. I didn't meet him at open mic. I met him on the subway, which you could say is a similar thing. When I moved to New York, he was playing on the subway system. And, yeah, he was entertaining. And he got my attention, and I wanted to follow him on social. And now he's found a series on his channel where he has people sing with him. I guess you could say it's almost like an open mic. And they get he's been getting millions of views. It's really cool. Charlie says, just got home from 4 days of camping, rushed home to watch your show. Well worth it. Oh, cool. Thanks, Charlie. Hi, Mark. How you doing? There's a Despacito version using English words, and it's cool, but funny, sounds like it's being sung in Spanish. Yeah, there's one version of Despacito on, I think, where Bieber sings in English at the start, but then it still goes back into Spanish again. So I could learn it. I'd have to just sit down and really copy what they're singing. Ah, you know my Maria, Martin Sexton. Okay, I'd never heard of that one. But you see, that's another thing that happens, Hippie, as you do more of these gigs, and over the years, of course, you do discover songs. I still remember when I didn't know what American Pie was. I still remember when I didn't know what Wagon Wheel was. And everyone, when I moved to America, wanted Wagon Wheel. I was like, what's that? And people still say that now in the UK. That's the weird thing. They still say that this day, what's that Wagon Wheel song in the UK? Because it's not big over there. Lee, what is it? Try. Have you ever had someone ask you to play a song you hate but the crowd loves it? Yeah. So I always say, when you choose songs, for me, it's about choosing songs that I like. Because I can't imagine doing a gig where I play songs that I hate. The audience would know it, right? You've got to do songs that you like. And luckily for me, there are also songs that people like too. Like I like Wonderwall. I like American Pie. I like Sweet Caroline. I don't sit and listen to them at home, but I like the songs. And the people like the songs at my gigs too. So it works out nicely. It could be a real problem if you want to do bar gigs, but you don't like the songs. Because that's going to come across unless you're a really good actor, right? But having said that, I have been asked. Yes, I have been asked for songs. For like requests at weddings, parties, where, well, no, I don't know. I don't want to say I've ever asked for a song that I hated. That's not happened. I might have had to learn a song that I never used again, which is frustrating. Because it's nice if they ask you to learn Brown Eyed Girl, because then you can use Brown Eyed Girl the rest of your life. But yeah, I like pop rock country, so it works for me. I think if you don't like the stuff, I mean, there are musicians that do gigs in bars that don't like that stuff, and they have to pay the bills, right? But I'm pretty sure the audience can tell. And yes, I have learnt songs, to go back to your question, not that I hate, but the crowd does love. I have learnt those songs, and they have gone down well for that reason, which is good. Gibson Jumbo Guild, Martin J40. Nope. Are you trying to guess my guitar now? Oh, for finger picking, yes. Okay. I haven't played one, Charlie, but we'll throw that one in there. I'm sticking with OM28. Like I just said, HD28, great all-round guitar. You know, really is a great all-round guitar. OM28, great all-round guitar. All right, but they're not. The problem with me is my favorites do and have changed over the years, and also for me, I want guitars for very specific things. Like I look a lot for guitars that I can plug in for stage, and that means a different thing. A lot of people don't care about plugging the guitar in, right? My friend has a VST that can hide the noise of the planes. He uses it to hide noise from a fan he uses. So the reason I bought the Apollo Twin is it has a noise gate. And when I had the old computer, that fan would be, and the noise gate would take that away. And of course, when I was talking, it would still be there, but you wouldn't really hear it. And that's why I got the noise gate. That noise gate still works on the planes. But obviously, again, while well, actually, no, it won't work on the planes because they're so loud, right? Let me just see if I've got that turned on right now. But that's why I bought this audio interface. So right now, yes, I have the gate on. I'll turn the noise gate off and you'll hear the difference. Ready? This is now turning off. So now you can hear the noise floor has doubled. You can hear the fan in my room that I've got on. And some noise from the neighbours. If I turn it on, all that noise is gone. But to remove the plane, you'd have to turn that noise gate up really high and then it would start to interfere with the voice. So that's why I don't do that. And also, same thing, yes, I know what plugin you're talking about. I have the plugin. It's really cool. Bruise Free, it's really cool for taking out sound from recordings. But if you record a guitar demo and run it through Bruise Free, I don't care how good the plugin is, it's going to interfere with the sound a little bit. D42, no. Yeah, D42 is a HD28 basically, isn't it? But with a different look. Maybe slightly different sound, but essentially the same instrument. $1937? A 1937 what? Oh, wouldn't that be interesting, wouldn't it? If I bought a 1937 authentic. Imagine that. that'd be a fun time, wouldn't it? You heard it, right? Yeah, you heard it. So I have a noise gate running now. But if you run plugins that take away the sound, the noise when you've done recordings, it will interfere with that audio. So I can't believe I've been on for an hour and a half. The only way I can tell is that my voice is getting tired, and my voice has been tired lately anyway from all the singing I've been doing. But I really enjoy it. I love doing the hangout. I love the fact on a Monday there's no plan sometimes and we just talk about something. I had no idea about talking about open mics and song selection today, but it was really cool to do it. So that was great. So tomorrow you should see me and Jim. It's a very general chat. Going forward, there'll be more specific, more topic specific. We had a topic where we had such a good time, we just started to talk and talk about different things for an hour. But that'll be up tomorrow morning with Jim. And during the week, I'll put one of those new gear videos up. I've been hinting at today. One of those will go live this week at least. And then a couple more that I have, I'll probably space out for the next few weeks. I'm not in a rush to get those reveals out. So I'll do that. And as I said last week, if you're looking for any pedals or guitars, send me an email. Say hi at aaronshortmusic.com, because someone did that last week and that was cool. Save your voice for the gigs. Yes, I'm trying to, BMO. I have to. I have a lot on this week. This week I've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. So I'll try to get that one video out this week. Charlie, yeah, I do. I have a very directional mic very close to me, but even then, those planes are really loud. So it doesn't bother me. While I'm live, it kind of bothers me a little bit because it's so loud in the headphones. But when I watch the stream back, it's not that bad, actually. And I just wait for the sunny days to do the demos, because that way I don't have to worry about the plane flying all the time. All right, Alan says good night. Bimo says good night. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out today. I enjoyed it as always. Thanks for your questions. And we'll do it again next Monday. So think of some more topics for me. And look out for the videos. All you got to do is subscribe and ring the bell. And then you'll get that email that says, hey, Aaron's posted a new video. And then you'll see, because I don't really have a schedule during the week. It'll just be random. What kick pedal are you using? I use the SPD. I couldn't gig that now. What a difference. I tried that one. It was okay. I'm currently using the Wild Dog I spoke about last week. I really like that Wild Dog. I also like the Laser one as well. And I like the Ortega one as well. All for different reasons. But I've actually got those three right now. But I've been using the Wild Dog because that's the new one that I have. And I really like it. The Bose is good too. The Roland is good too. It's different. I think I found it a bit too heavy and overly complicated for what I needed. I like the Wild Dog. Shut up, planes. I like the Wild Dog because it's passive. There's no battery or anything, so it's very easy. All right, thank you, and thank you all. If you got anything helpful or useful out of today, I'll leave you my coffee link, And thank you for Rosanna for moderating today, and Lee as well for moderating. We didn't need you today, I don't think, which is always a good sign. But thank you for doing it. I appreciate it as always. And look out for that video in the week. Look out for the video tomorrow. Ring the bell, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a nice Monday evening. Take care and bye-bye. Later.
Meet me at the station at midnight. Wear your high heels, your red dress, and your smile. You look just like this other girl I knew. She was beautiful. And if you want to, maybe we can stay a little longer, stay a little longer. Yeah, we'll dance all night. Yeah, we'll dance all night. Like our hearts have never been broken, never been broken. So raise your glass to the lost and